Greetings, dear friends. Hope you are all spending your winter holidays in a cozy ambience, surrounded by the warmth of your loved ones, or perhaps by the warmth of food that just hit the dinner table. Both are welcome in any winter season. And for those who haven't got either of these right now, don't worry. You can always find them here on our channel. So get comfortable and let's warm ourselves up with something truly comforting. On such cold, wintry days, there's no better place for your dish to come to life than the oven. Think about it. Outside, the wind howls, the air is crisp, and inside, the oven radiates a steady, gentle heat, filling the entire kitchen with delicious aromas. Baking doesn't just cook your food, it transforms it. Slowly, deeply, bringing out flavors in a way that no other method quite can. And today, we're using that magic to prepare something truly special: succulent chicken, earthy mushrooms, and a golden, bubbling cheese topping that ties everything together. You know, cooking isn't just about following a recipe. It's about slowing down, enjoying the process, and letting your mind wander a little. While we're chopping onions, let's talk about something fitting. Since we're using an oven today, why not talk about the tradition of baking itself? Across different cultures, baking has always brought people together, whether it's a warm loaf of bread shared among family or a hearty casserole served straight from the dish. It's that moment when you open the oven and the aroma fills the room, that feeling of home. And while we're here, don't forget to subscribe. If you're enjoying the cozy winter vibes and the delicious recipes we bring to the table, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss another warm, home-cooked meal from us. Now let's take a moment to appreciate just how well chicken and mushrooms go together. There's a reason this duo is so popular across different cuisines. The mild, juicy chicken breast absorbs the rich, umami flavor of mushrooms beautifully. Add a creamy sauce to the mix, and you get a dish that's indulgent, satisfying, and comforting all at once. Whether it's a French-style creamy mushroom chicken, an Italian-inspired baked chicken Alfredo, or even an Eastern European mushroom-stuffed chicken dish, this combination has won hearts worldwide. And when we bake it, that's when the magic really happens. The chicken stays juicy, the mushrooms soak up all the flavors, and the cheese on top adds the perfect finishing touch. If you've never tried this before, trust me, you're in for something amazing. But first, my wife will stew all the ingredients together, letting them soften and tenderize, blending their flavors into a rich, velvety base. The onions will caramelize slightly, the mushrooms will release their earthy aroma, and the chicken will absorb all those beautiful flavors. After that, the ingredients will develop a light glaze, locking in their richness. Then, she'll pour in some sour cream, giving the dish a luscious, creamy texture, and let everything stew gently until the flavors meld together into something irresistible. Now let's pour this velvety mixture into separate trays, making sure every bit of that rich, creamy sauce settles nicely. And here comes the final touch. My wife will generously sprinkle a mountain of grated cheese on top. Once it melts and turns golden in the oven, it'll create that irresistible, bubbly crust that makes every bite pure comfort. And of course, my friends, if you enjoyed this cozy winter feast, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Your support means the world, and it helps us bring you even more delicious recipes. Hit that bell icon so you never miss out on our next dish. Now, time to send these little soldiers into their final battle, the oven. This is where all the magic happens. The gentle heat will bring everything together, melting the cheese into a golden embrace, while the chicken and mushrooms soak up every last drop of flavor. In just a short while, they'll emerge victorious, covered in a bubbling, crispy armor of cheese, ready to delight our taste buds. And let's be honest, this part always feels like the longest wait, but trust me, it's worth it. Look at this beauty. The cheese has melted into a perfect crust, slightly crispy on the edges and irresistibly gooey in the center. And the smell? Oh, my friends, it's the kind that makes your stomach grumble in anticipation, promising a bite full of warmth and indulgence. On the table, they look even more tempting. The cheese stretches beautifully as I scoop up a generous portion, revealing the juicy chicken and tender mushrooms underneath. This is the kind of dish that doesn't just feed you, it hugs you from the inside, wrapping you in warmth and nostalgia. Let's not wait any longer. Time to get a good spoonful for me and my wife. The first bite is pure joy. The combination of creamy, cheesy, and slightly smoky flavors blending perfectly. This isn't just food, this is a moment of happiness on a plate. And to round off this wonderful feast, I suggest a nice, steaming cup of tea paired with a spoonful of fruit jam. The gentle sweetness of the jam balances out the rich, savory meal, making for the perfect ending. My friends, thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Let me know if you tried it or if you have any special twists of your own. I'll see you in the next delicious adventure. Until then, eat well, stay warm, and most importantly, share your meals with those you love.
Greetings, my friends. Autumn brings with it a mix of joys, from gentle rains and moody skies to the vibrant hues of nature's golden transformation. One of the season's undeniable delights is the blanket of golden leaves adorning the trees and carpeting the earth, a sight so beautiful and inspiring. And let's not forget the hidden treasures scattered beneath those leaves, walnuts and chestnuts, nature's seasonal gems. To honor this Queen of Seasons dressed in her golden apparel, we're dedicating today's episode to one of her finest gifts, walnuts. Let's dive into their rich, nutty goodness and create something truly special. My wife and I will show you various classic ways to incorporate these healthy, nutrient-packed nuts into your meals. Walnuts are often considered a superfood, and for good reason. Let me explain why. Imagine your body is like a shiny bike. If you leave it outside for too long, rain and air can cause it to rust. The same thing happens to your body when you don't consume enough antioxidants, which walnuts are rich in. Antioxidants help protect your body, keeping you strong, youthful, and healthy. This is just the beginning, but you've already learned so much. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any upcoming episodes filled with more interesting facts about the food we consume. We need to wait for the water to boil, as we'll use it to clean the walnuts. Just give it a couple of minutes and you'll see how it's done. A few days later, when we decided to spotlight walnuts as the star ingredient for our next episode, I've been pondering the best techniques to thoroughly clean them, especially to remove that delicate outer husk. And you know what? I found an answer to this question: a concrete mixer. While I'm busy loading the concrete mixer with walnuts, my wife is having her own little celebration of autumn by knitting traditional Azerbaijani socks, jorabs, to keep our feet warm. These are my favorite colors, yellow and blue. Can you hear the peace in the whistle of the wind or the rustle of the leaves? It's as if autumn whispers gentle words into our ears, filling our hearts with a calm acceptance of life and its cycles. Such moments of solitude bring you closer to nature, and when you're that close, you reconnect with your inner voice. Now that we're recharged, let's get back to work. The water has reached the right temperature, so we can pour it into the concrete mixer. The hot water will not only clean the husk, but also help soften it, making it much easier to remove. Villagers truly are masters of DIY solutions. Well, not everything can be solved with DIY. Some things require precision and great accuracy. Take knives, for example. Quality is key when it comes to defining the quality of your cooking. That's why we've designed a range of knives, each suited for specific purposes. Want the same level of quality in your kitchen? Just scan the QR code and get yours today. Have you ever wondered how people started consuming nuts? Well, I have, and here's a little history check for you. The discovery of nuts likely began when early humans observed animals eating them. This trial and error approach would have eventually led them to recognize certain nuts as not only safe to eat, but also nutritious. I've got to be precise and very careful with this hammer, as someone's finger might get smashed by accident. And here's the trust check from my wife. She trusts me completely. So, as I mentioned previously, our ancestors watched closely our little friends and discovered many interesting edible fruits and nuts. And guess what the earliest nut consumed by humans was? Which animal is most famous for loving nuts? The squirrel. And the earliest nut was the acorn. Today, I doubt many people still eat it.
What's going on? The fresh nedan. Nedan. Nie złość to.
The husk will be used instead of coal, making it an excellent source of carbon-neutral fuel, as it does not emit harmful emissions when burned. I recently watched an episode about how macadamia nuts reach store shelves, and it's incredible how people have developed the process of preparing nuts for consumption. The macadamia nut husk is as solid as a brick, and a special machine has been invented to remove the husks by making a thin cut in them. Interestingly, the removed husk is then used as fuel for the machinery involved in the process. When you think about how many inventions humanity has introduced to the world that have simplified our lives tenfold, you can't help but feel immense gratitude. One of the main goals of this channel is to showcase ancient tools and forgotten inventions of our ancestors. Among them are quernstones, traditional hand tools used for grinding grains into flour. My wife will demonstrate how to use them to grind walnuts. This tool I'm using here is called a manual oil press. It's commonly used to extract oil from seeds, nuts, or other oil-rich substances. The funnel on top is where the walnuts are placed, and the flame at the bottom can be used to heat the press slightly, making the extraction process smoother and more efficient. The walnut oil is often applied to the skin for its nourishing properties and was used in traditional lamps as a source of light. Today, walnut oil and butter have versatile applications. Walnut oil can be drizzled over salads, pasta, or roasted vegetables to add a rich, nutty flavor. Walnut butter, on the other hand, is a great spread for bread or a base for sauces and desserts, making it a must-have in modern kitchens. In Azerbaijan, there are countless dishes and pastries featuring walnuts. However, the first thing that comes to mind for any Azerbaijani is baklava. Today, though, we're going to cook something different, but just as delicious. Our walnut cake recipe is a decadent delight, starting with a generous number of eggs to ensure a light and fluffy base. Ground walnuts are folded into the batter, infusing the cake with their rich, nutty flavor and a slightly dense texture. Quark, a soft and tangy cheese, is added for creaminess and moisture, creating a perfect balance of flavors. A touch of sugar and vanilla enhances the natural sweetness, while the walnuts lend a rustic charm. Once baked, the cake emerges golden and aromatic, a luscious blend of nuttiness and creamy tanginess that's truly irresistible.
で、ค่อยๆเอามาปั่นช่วยก่อน Bueno, listo.
This is an excellent way to store walnut butter for future use. I love having it for breakfast with toast or oatmeal. Just a spoonful of walnut butter, and there's no need for additional butter or sugar. If you enjoy spending time with us, join us for even more by following our Instagram page. Just need to finish a few tasks and we can set our tea table.
Mosh. What's doing? Hearty.
The cake smells absolutely delightful. A warm, nutty fragrance fills the air like a gentle hug on a crisp autumn day. The golden crust glistens with a subtle sheen, hinting at the richness inside. The walnut cake, with its tender crumb, feels like a soft embrace, each bite offering a perfect balance of nutty depth and delicate sweetness. My wife now pours a generous drizzle of honey over the cake, letting it cascade down like liquid sunshine. Then, she sprinkles the finely ground walnuts on top, adding a lovely texture that contrasts with the cake's soft interior. The honey, glistening in the light, is a perfect complement to the walnut's earthy, slightly bitter taste, creating a harmony of flavors that is both comforting and indulgent. The ground walnuts on top shimmer like tiny jewels, adding a lovely crunch to each slice. The dough itself is perfectly light, a delicate balance of fluffiness and moisture, holding together the rich walnut flavor with every bite. It's like a work of art on a plate, simple yet refined. And here we are, after a long journey, through the cracking of walnuts, the blending of ingredients, and the patience and care in every step, we finally arrive at this moment, gathered around the table, ready to savor the fruits of our labor. It's more than just a cake. It's the culmination of memories, of tradition, and of love. What a perfect way to end the day, sharing this homemade treasure with those we hold dear. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful journey. Until next time.
Hayatım.
Atsız götür.
Greetings, dear friends. Usually we meet at my house, but today I'm excited to welcome you to our local market. It's a lively spot where people from neighboring villages come to find fresh fruits, vegetables, and poultry. Speaking of poultry, that's exactly why we're here today, to find a delicious fatty goose to feature in this episode. I have a feeling that after watching this episode, you'll be inspired to visit your own local market. Go ahead and grab some freshly harvested veggies, and when you're done, you can thank us by subscribing to the channel and giving this video a like. You know, my friend, and I think you'll agree with me on this, that local markets are more than just a place to buy fresh ingredients. They're a hub of connection. One visit to the market gives you more than just the fruits and veggies picked fresh from the field. It offers you a slice of community life. At one stall, you might bump into your old friend from school. At another, your neighbor, and before you know it, you're caught up on everything that's happened since the last time you spoke. Stall after stall, exchange after exchange, the market becomes a journey of shared moments. And as we make our way back home, the first to welcome us are our little bundles of fur. It's impossible to resist stopping for a quick scratch behind the ears. And you know what? When the snow falls, they become so playful, bounding through the drifts like children on winter holidays. The first flurry send them racing outdoors, tumbling and burrowing themselves in the snow with pure joy. One cannot but join them.
Bobby nice. Bobby.
In keeping with our traditions of artisanal and rustic cooking, my wife and I have decided to introduce something truly special today, a real relic from the Afghan nomadic tribes. These tribes brought a culinary gem to Central Asia and the Middle East, one that has stood the test of time, the Afghan cauldron. Alright, let me tell you a bit about it while feeding these fellas. So, if you Google Afghan cauldron, you will see a quite sturdy round-bottomed pot. There are some images on the internet where the cauldron is hanged over an open fire, and this is a proper way of using it as it serves perfectly for slow-cooking stews, pilafs, and meat dishes, giving you the rich, tender results we all love.
Koş.
As we get ready to slow cook this beautiful goose in the cauldron, it's important to have the right tools to bring out the best in our ingredients. That's where our knives come in. Crafted for durability and sharpness, whether you are prepping the meat, vegetables, or anything in between, these knives are your perfect companion. Scan the QR code and treat yourself with a different cooking experience. This passion for authentic quality cooking has shaped our approach to every aspect of our work, including these incredible knives. We're constantly on the lookout for unique artisanal pieces to create something truly extraordinary. And that search has led us to gems like this Afghan cauldron. But it's not just about the tools, it's about sharing these discoveries with you. For example, here's a fun tidbit. In many Afghan households, the cauldron is treated like a family heirloom, passed down from generation to generation. Some even believe that the older the cauldron, the better it cooks. Now that's a tradition you can taste.
Big ma.
So, what makes goose meat so special? Well, it's a bit of a treat. It's richer and juicier than your average chicken. Kind of like the goose is saying, I don't do basic. The flavor's deeper, more complex, and when you cook it slowly, all that fat renders down, making every bite insanely tender. I know, fat sounds like a bad word, but trust me, when it melts, you'll immediately stop perceiving it that way.
Şey bir Bobby bizi.
Evet. Bobby, sanki.
A generous touch of salt, pepper, and turmeric. Let's make sure to season it well, as the right amount of herbs and spices will really elevate the dish. By the way, if you are loving what you're seeing, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We're always sharing new recipes and a few extra tips and tricks to make your cooking just a little bit more exciting. And I think this is a great way to fill your feed with really decent content. These days, the flow of information is relentless and chaotic. You scroll through your Instagram feed and honestly, half the time, you don't even know what you're looking at anymore. It's a mix of ads, influencers, and random updates that make you stop and wonder, what am I really getting out of all this? It's easy to get lost in the noise. I really hope that our little slice of peaceful village life brings some calm and serenity to your day. That's truly our main aim here, to offer a break from the hustle and bustle, where everything moves at a slower pace. Now, as we continue with our cooking, my wife has already started prepping the vegetables. She's cutting them into big, hearty chunks, and this is key because we want to make sure that each piece holds onto its full flavor. If you cut the veggies too small, they might lose their integrity during cooking, but leaving them in larger chunks means every bite is packed with that pure, fresh taste. So the size of the cuts really matters. Here we have sweet bell peppers, sun-kissed tomatoes, some carrots and potatoes. They're becoming a flavorful base, a cozy bed if you will, for our goose. We will layer them gently in the cauldron, letting them soak up all the flavors that will come from the goose as it slow cooks. It's like setting the stage for the main act. The goose will rest on top, infusing everything below with its savory juices, and by the end, we'll have a meal that's nothing short of magic. And just a little reminder before we continue, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It's such a small gesture from you, but it really makes a huge difference for us. Every like and subscribe helps us keep bringing you more recipes. Now let's season the veggies with a nice pinch of salt, some freshly cracked pepper, and a few other spices to bring out their natural flavors. We'll add a generous drizzle of olive oil, and once everything is mixed together, my wife will begin layering the bottom of the cauldron. Let's go ahead and fasten the lid of our Afghan cauldron. Now, let me share a bit about how this pot works. The round bottom design is perfect for slow cooking, as it evenly distributes heat all around the dish. The lid, when sealed tightly, traps all the steam and moisture inside, ensuring that everything cooks in its own juices. Over time, the heat rises from the bottom and circulates around the ingredients, creating a gentle simmer that does all the magic for us. It's like a slow dance of flavors inside that pot. While our dish is cooking, I thought we'd take a moment for a quick tea break. I've gathered some wild rose hips from the garden. These little berries are perfect for brewing a fragrant, soothing tea. I'll combine them with slices of tangerine and a handful of pomegranate seeds. This mix will give our tea a wonderfully zesty kick. It's just the kind of thing you need when you've got time to relax and let the food do its thing in the cauldron. Let's have a break and enjoy something warm and comforting before the main event.
Hava kuma rawa kati jiu ko.
When you pour that hot tea into the cups, you can immediately see the steam rise and fog up the glass walls. It's such a beautiful sight, the way the steam wraps around the edges of the cup, almost like a little cloud. There's something so satisfying about that visual, a promise of the warmth and relaxation that's to come.
İmza kalktı. Hazır iloji. Anturza gitse.
As we set the table, we also have some bright pickled peppers stuffed with cabbage. You might have seen the making of them already in the previous episodes. They make a great snack to pair with the wholesome meal, adding a nice tangy contrast to all the rich flavors we've been building up. And now, after all that slow cooking, the dish is finally ready. We're lifting the lid off the cauldron, and the aroma that hits us is nothing short of incredible. The goose, tender and golden, is resting perfectly atop a bed of caramelized veggies, soaking in all the juices. Take a look at this beautiful dish. Everything about it is inviting. The goose is golden brown, its skin perfectly crisped, glistening with that rich layer of fat that's rendered down into the most delicious juices. The smell is simply intoxicating. You can smell the earthiness of the potatoes and carrots, the sweetness of the peppers, and the deep, rich aroma of the goose. And when you plate it, the way the juices pool around the goose, creating a glossy sheen, it's a feast for the eyes as much as it is for the stomach. Let's adorn it with some fresh greens, parsley, cilantro, maybe a bit of dill. The vibrant green herbs will create a beautiful contrast against the golden brown goose and the rich earthy veggies.
sanki yemekhanı ha.
But before I dive in, I have a little tradition I always follow, sharing with my dogs first. They've been patiently waiting, their eyes locked on that goose, and they're as excited as we are. So, as I set their bowls down and watch them dig in, it's a reminder of how food brings us all together, whether it's at the table or sharing a meal with our furry friends. Now, it's finally time to sit down and dive into this feast. We gather around the table, and honestly, it's like the food starring in its own show. As soon as that first bite hits your mouth, it's like fireworks. The goose is so tender it practically melts. The veggies have absorbed all the goodness, and that tangy kick from the pickled peppers, it's like the unexpected punchline of a good joke. You weren't quite ready for it, but it just works. There's this harmony, this balance where everything comes together, and you realize this is the kind of meal that makes everything feel right in the world. Well done, my friends. We can't wait to share another meal, another story with you next time. Until then, take care.
Greetings, dear friends. A warm welcome from our little faraway village to all of you who cherish the beauty of authentic life in nature. Here, we're not just sharing glimpses of our lives, customs and traditions. We're sharing a deep passion for cooking. Cooking that's unique and innovative, yet rooted in the flavors of the past. Recipes that may have been forgotten, but are still perfect for today. So, let's dive into another journey of amazing discoveries together. One of the biggest joys of having your own yard is, without a doubt, the vegetables. Sweet, ripe, juicy, and nurtured with love and care. There's something so satisfying about walking through those rows, searching for the ripest ones. It's like a treasure hunt that fills your heart with excitement. You have to choose carefully, looking at their appearance, size and ripeness. It's a skill, really, and over time you develop such a sharp eye for it, it almost becomes second nature. These vibrant red tomatoes are about to take center stage in the globally beloved Italian masterpiece, pizza, the one and only dish that has claimed a special place in hearts all over the world. And at the heart of every unforgettable pizza is the humble pizza sauce, the unsung hero that ties together the flavors of the toppings and the crust. The origins of pizza sauce trace back to Naples, Italy, the birthplace of the iconic Neapolitan pizza. Traditional Neapolitan pizza sauce is made from San Marzano tomatoes, prized for their naturally sweet, rich flavor and low acidity. These tomatoes are grown in the volcanic soil near Mount Vesuvius, which gives them their unique taste and texture. That's why they're one of the most expensive varieties out there. If you're as into the history behind recipes as we are, then you've got to check out our Instagram page. We're always sharing fascinating tidbits and behind-the-scenes stories. You don't want to miss it. You just need to scan the QR code, and that's it. Many people believe that pizza sauce was invented by Raphael Esposito in 1889 because he's credited with creating the famous pizza margherita. According to the story, Queen Margherita herself invited Raffaele to the royal palace to whip up some of Naples' beloved local dishes. Out of the 3 pizzas he prepared, her favorite was the one with tomatoes, basil, and mozzarella, a pizza he named in her honor. But here's the twist. While Raphael may have named the pizza, he definitely wasn't the first to use tomato sauce or even create that style of pizza. The history of pizza sauce goes back even further. As for our pizza sauce today, we're adding a little twist, red and green peppers, to give it a nice pungent kick. It's going to be bold, flavorful, and just the right amount of spicy. What's a tomato sauce without a generous helping of onions and garlic? These are the powerhouse ingredients that make the sauce vibrant, piquant, and naturally sweet. And let me tell you, the more onions, the better. Onions bring a natural sweetness that balances the acidity of the tomatoes beautifully. Plus, as they cook down, they add depth and richness to the sauce, creating that perfect base that ties all the flavors together. If you're loving this pizza making adventure, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to ring the bell so you're always in the loop for our next tasty creation. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. We don't want to overcook the sauce, we want it to stay juicy. My wife is going to handle the draining to get that smooth, silky texture we're aiming for. Sure, we'll still have a few tiny bits of tomato and pepper left for some character, but the bigger chunks, those have got to go. As you can see, we've removed the tomato skin because, let's be honest, no one wants to deal with those pesky bits while enjoying their pizza. A smooth, creamy sauce is what makes the base irresistible, and getting rid of the skin is a small step that makes a big difference. While my wife is busy whipping up that perfect sauce, I'm getting to work on something just as important. The underground oven for our pizza. It gives the pizza that authentic, wood-fired flavor with a crispy crust and perfectly melted cheese. Building this underground oven takes a bit of time and effort, but it's totally worth it. The way the heat circulates, cooking the pizza evenly and giving it that smoky, rustic touch, it's something you can't replicate in a regular oven. Once it's fired up, we'll slide our pizza in and let it bake to perfection. Trust me, there's no better way to do it. I can already imagine that golden crust and bubbling sauce. This is going to be a pizza like no other. Since the sauce is a bit too liquidy, my wife is going to let it simmer for a while to thicken up and get that perfect consistency. She's also adding a bit of vinegar, which helps balance out the sweetness of the tomatoes and adds a touch of acidity that lifts the flavor. It's that little secret ingredient that makes everything come together just right. She'll set aside some sauce for our pizza, and the rest will be carefully packed into glass jars for the winter. There's nothing like having homemade sauce on hand when the cold months roll in. It's like having a little taste of summer all year long. Plus, it's reassuring to know you've got something delicious ready to go, even when fresh tomatoes aren't in season. It's funny to think that for many years tomatoes were feared. People thought they were dangerous, mostly because they looked similar to the poisonous nightshade plant. There was even this wild story that spread about a group of upper-class Europeans who supposedly died after eating them. Imagine that today. Tomatoes are in everything, and we can't get enough. While it's true that the group did experience fatalities after eating tomatoes, it turns out the cause wasn't the tomatoes themselves. The high acidity of the tomatoes actually leached lead from the pewter dinnerware they were using, causing lead poisoning. That little mix-up caused quite a stir, and the story about tomatoes being dangerous spread across Europe for years. The dough is all set, and now it's time to cover it with a cloth and let it rest. This is the crucial moment when the gluten network will develop, giving the dough structure and texture. The yeast gets to work, making the dough rise and turn airy and fluffy. If you're enjoying this journey of making the perfect pizza, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a delicious update from our kitchen. We've got so much more to share with you. The pizza toppings can vary depending on the type of pizza, but today we're keeping it classic with a simple, timeless combo: peppers, mushrooms, and tomatoes. These ingredients come together perfectly, creating that balance of flavors and textures we all know and love on a great pizza. While my wife works on the toppings, let me tell you about our shop. If you're looking for the perfect knife, scan the QR code and check out our collection. We specialize in high-quality knives of all types, designed to meet every culinary need with precision and ease. As I have told previously, there are different sets of pizza toppings depending on the type. There's no end to the delicious possibilities. Classic choices like pepperoni and mozzarella, or you can go wild with ingredients like fresh basil, mushrooms, olives, or even pineapple if you're feeling adventurous. The beauty of pizza is you can make it as simple or as loaded as you like.
Filming cosas como se llama.
The pizza we know today began taking shape in 18th century Naples. During this time, the city saw an influx of peasants from the countryside, and the local economy couldn't keep up with the demand for food. These poverty-stricken folks, called lazzaroni, needed something quick and affordable to eat. Enter the street vendors who served pizza by the slice, priced to fit every budget. The toppings were simple, sometimes just garlic and salt, but often they included cheese, fresh basil, and occasionally tomatoes. This humble beginning paved the way for the pizza we all love today. Everyone knows the classic pizza setup: crust, sauce, cheese, and toppings. But why is this the standard? Toppings, like meats and vegetables, need the most direct heat to cook properly, while sauce and cheese just need enough heat to warm and melt. By placing the toppings on top, they cook without burning, the cheese melts beautifully, and the sauce stays perfectly balanced. It's all about getting the right heat to each ingredient. We're getting close to baking our pizza, so I'm starting to set up the underground cooking setup. We've talked a lot about Italian pizza, but did you know that in Azerbaijan we have our own version? It's called kutab, and it's somewhat like a pizza, but with its own unique twist. Made from thin dough folded over a flavorful filling, kutab is typically filled with a mix of fresh greens like cilantro, spinach and dill, along with onions and ground meat, usually lamb or beef. The dough is soft, slightly chewy and thin, while the filling is juicy and aromatic. Kutab is often served with a refreshing yogurt or sour cream dip, which perfectly balances its rich flavors. So in a way, we have our very own version of a calzone.
Sınçka hazır. Behem hana. Çıkayı. Ya bismillah.
Everything's prepped, and we're all set to send our pizza into the underground oven. Let's get this delicious creation cooking. Before we dive into the oven action, don't forget to check out our Instagram page. We've got plenty of behind-the-scenes action, recipes, and food inspiration that you won't want to miss. All the hard work is done, and now it's time to sit back and appreciate what we've created. One thing I've learned over the years of cooking on this channel is that any hard work you enjoy along the way always pays off, always. And when you're fully immersed in the process, you don't even realize how the fruits of your labor start to fill your yard, your life, and nourish your soul. My friends, my advice to you: find something that brings you joy and nourishes your soul.
Kısa ciddi mi olsun? Çağır konu şu an baksa şey. Maş. Hani maş. Uyan maş. Uyan maş. Zıskılıyam hanıcı. Hazırcık. Abi. Geçin şey kalksasın mi? Signal.
Now this is exactly what I was talking about. Just look at this gorgeous pizza. It's like a colourful mosaic with vibrant tomatoes, black olives and green peppers. Every bite is a feast for the eyes and the taste buds. You know that moment when you take the first bite and the pizza just feels right. The outside is perfectly crispy, but when you sink your teeth in, it's soft and chewy on the inside. That crust, just the right amount of crunch. And the sauce. Oh, it's rich and tangy, but not overpowering, just enough to make the mozzarella really shine. I can't even tell you how satisfying it is to watch it all come together. Thanks for sticking around and sharing this journey with me.
Hello and a very warm welcome to all our friends and cherished villagers. Nestled amidst this vast snow-draped landscape is our beloved village, a place where life thrives even in the frostiest of seasons. Here, we embrace the cold with open arms, weaving joy into every moment we share with you. Today, we'll journey together into the widespread rituals and traditions of wintertime cooking. So get ready, enjoy the process, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. Look at these beauties. We have 2 baskets brimming with green and red peppers. Their vibrant hues are absolutely mesmerizing, like nature's own holiday decorations. What makes them even more satisfying is knowing they were grown without pesticides or artificial enhancers, pure and wholesome, just as they should be. They're perfect for today's episode, where they'll take center stage. And now, let me share what we're up to today. This savory treat we're preparing has roots deep in our history. Our ancestors, with their wisdom and resourcefulness, created delicious ways to preserve vegetables during the long, harsh winters. It wasn't just survival, it was art, a practice of love passed down through generations. And even now, we honor their legacy by keeping these traditions alive, turning preserved veggies and fruits into healthy, flavorful treasures. Keeping those practices alive helps us to stay healthy by preserving vegetables and fruits. We share so much with you on this channel, and for good reason. If you're hungry for more amazing content like this, you've got to check out our Instagram page. It's packed with recipes that'll keep you inspired all year long. Go ahead, give us a follow, and let's stay connected. In the early days, preserving food wasn't just a convenience, it was a necessity. People relied on simple yet effective methods to ensure their families stayed nourished. Drying fruits under the sun, salting vegetables to draw out moisture, fermenting foods like cabbage to create tangy delights, and storing root vegetables in cool cellars were all part of daily life. Each method not only preserved the produce, but also brought unique flavors to their tables, teaching us that even preservation could be a celebration of taste. There are many ways to pickle your veggies, each with its own charm. Some prefer the classic method, vegetables of one kind neatly packed in a single jar, simple and pure. Others love to mix it up, creating vibrant combinations of flavors. But there's a more adventurous route, and that's exactly what my wife is doing right now. She's grating cabbage and carrots, then mixing them with garlic. This not only adds texture, but also layers of bold flavors, creating something extra special. And when there's a chance to elevate the taste, I always take it. Speaking of elevating your kitchen game, if you want to bring that extra edge to your cooking, check out our shop for the finest knives. Tools that turn every chop into a masterpiece. Just scan the QR code and you're on your way to getting yours. As she chops and tosses garlic into the mix, it's worth mentioning why garlic is such a staple in almost every pickling recipe. This little powerhouse isn't just for flavor, it's like the secret handshake of pickling. It adds a bold, aromatic punch that elevates the entire jar. In Azerbaijan, we love garlic's ability to give pickles a sharp kick, but it's not just us. Take Italy, for instance, where basil or rosemary often step in as flavor stars in preserved vegetables. Or in Japan, where ginger and shiso leaves take the spotlight. Each culture has its own way of coaxing extra personality into pickles, but garlic, like a reliable old friend, seems to be the universal favorite. And why not? It's like the life of the pickle party. If you've been enjoying the show so far, don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Your support keeps us sharing all these wonderful traditions with you.
Avuşkan.
İçini kazığınızı, pilavı biber.
Allah'ım biraz koymanız ki. Kızı çay senin olsun mekir.
Pickling has a rich history in Azerbaijan, woven into the fabric of our culinary heritage. For centuries, preserving vegetables for winter wasn't just practical, it was an art form. One standout is the pickled cabbage with beetroot, which takes on that beautiful, intense rosy hue. This isn't just a feast for the eyes, it's a treat for the palate, pairing wonderfully with pilaf to create a harmony of flavors. It's a testament to the ingenuity of our ancestors, who found joy in creating vibrant, flavorful dishes to brighten the colder months. Every jar of pickled vegetables is like a little time capsule of tradition, preserving not just food, but memories of shared meals and celebrations. I could sing praises all day for the richness of our world's cultural and traditional heritage. My deep love for Azerbaijani cuisine has not only anchored me in my roots, but has also inspired me to explore other culinary traditions. Among my favorites is Korea's iconic pickled cabbage recipe, kimchi. What a delightful symphony of flavors, spicy, savory, and brimming with layers of taste. It's not just a dish, it's an experience. Each bite feels like a celebration of boldness and balance, a true gift from the Korean kitchen to the world. Speaking of gifts, did you know that pickled cabbage, whether it's our own version or kimchi, is a treasure trove of health benefits? Packed with probiotics, it's like a spa day for your gut, improving digestion and boosting immunity. And the goodness doesn't stop there. Those natural probiotics also work wonders for your skin, helping it stay radiant and healthy. So next time you enjoy a tangy, crispy bite of pickled cabbage, remember, you're not just savoring a tradition, you're nourishing your body and soul. Jar by jar, we're marching toward the grand finale. Every layer of effort, every sprinkle of care, it all builds up to this moment. It may seem like an arduous journey now, but trust me, this hard work will reward you sooner than you think. Each jar is like a little time capsule of flavor waiting to burst open with joy in the colder months. And here we are with the final touches. Just a spoonful of salt for each jar, a generous pour of warm water, and voila! We're ready to seal these jars and send them off to their cozy slumber. They'll hibernate like little treasures, dreaming of the day they'll grace your table. Well done, my friends. Together, we've secured a bounty of savory, crunchy delights to brighten the darkest days of winter. Whether it's a steaming plate of pilaf, a sizzling kebab, or any hearty dish, these pickles are destined to be the star sidekick, an appetizer that's equal parts tradition and flavor explosion. Take care, my friends, and until next time, may your kitchens be filled with laughter, discovery, and the magic of cooking. Keep exploring, keep experimenting, and let the world's culinary wonders inspire you. See you soon. Few fruits evoke poetry quite like the persimmon, with its sunset-hued skin and honeyed sweetness, holding whispers of ancient civilizations. Welcome, dear friends, back to your beloved village of flavors. Today, we'll honor this living relic of culinary and cultural history by transforming it into the star of a dessert as divine as the fruit itself. So grab a cozy spot on your sofa and make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Let's embark on this sweet journey together. The persimmon story begins in the misty valleys of East Asia, where it grew wild and untamed, dotting the landscape with fiery bursts of orange. It was first cultivated in China more than 2,000 years ago, and then later was introduced to neighboring countries, Japan and Korea. Given Azerbaijan's position along the ancient Silk Road, the fruit likely arrived as part of the rich cultural and agricultural exchanges between East and West. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the cultivation of persimmons became widespread in Azerbaijan.
Değmiş ama.
İmla bayağı değmiş.
Anladım.
Tadına bakak.
Nowadays, persimmons stand as one of Azerbaijan's most significant exports, gracing markets in Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Iran, Kazakhstan, and the United Arab Emirates. Beyond their economic value, persimmons hold a deeply symbolic place in Azerbaijani culture. Their arrival heralds the transition to cooler months. The anticipation of their ripening is woven into the rhythm of the seasons, cherished as a reminder of nature's cycle. There are two main types of persimmons, astringent and non-astringent. Let me break it down for you. For those of you who've ever tried an unripe persimmon, you probably remember that intense puckering sensation that follows. That dry, almost numbing feeling in your mouth is called astringency. It's caused by tannins in the fruit, which are nature's way of telling you to hold off on eating until the fruit fully ripens. This pucker power helps the fruit mature, essentially deterring premature consumption. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It's like a high five from you to us. And make sure to turn on the notifications so you never miss out on the magic. Most people prefer their persimmons when they've fully ripened, turning into a soft, jelly-like orange ball with tight, smooth skin. It's that perfect moment when the fruit melts in your mouth, sweet and lush. However, there are some people I know personally who actually adore the astringent variety, the one with that distinct puckering aftertaste. My wife and I collected both ripened and unripe persimmons. The unripe ones will be used to make hoshigaki, a traditional Japanese dried persimmon that has been prepared for centuries. It's a perfect sweet treat for tea. At its core, hoshigaki involves peeling the persimmons and hanging them until they shrivel, allowing a natural sugar coating to form on the surface. In the traditional hoshigaki recipe, the persimmons are peeled, then massaged daily to encourage the sugars to rise to the surface and create a shiny, sweet coating. This process takes several weeks, and the gentle kneading helps to soften the fruit. However, here, we're simplifying the method. Instead of massaging, we're simply hanging the persimmons out to dry, letting nature work its magic on them. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram for even more behind-the-scenes action and exclusive updates. You won't want to miss all the cool stuff we're sharing. Dipping the persimmons in hot water before hanging them is like giving them a spa treatment. It helps to strip away the waxy coating, almost like peeling off a layer of stress from a busy day. The heat opens up the pores, allowing the drying process to work its magic evenly. And don't worry, this step also makes sure any sneaky bacteria don't crash the party, so the persimmons dry out perfectly, turning those natural sugars into a sweet golden treasure. Now that the persimmons have had their dip and are feeling fresh and peeled, it's time to hang them up like little fruit fashion models. They'll be suspended in a cool, dry place for about 2 to 3 weeks, hanging out and doing their thing. As they dry, they'll start to shrink, kind of like those oversized sweaters we all own, and a sweet sugary coat will form on their surface, turning them into the ultimate candy-like treat. Chewy, rich, and as sweet as a good joke. When the persimmons are hanging from every corner of the kitchen, it's like the entire space is dressed up for a celebration. It feels as though we're welcoming autumn with open arms, letting these sweet golden decorations be the harbingers of cozy days ahead.
Sorry, get in the specimen.
As I step into the shed, I scoop up a handful of manure. It might not seem like much, but this is pure gold for the soil, a lifeline for the plants. It's incredible, isn't it? How nature's cycle works so perfectly. The manure nourishes the soil nurtures the plants, and the plants sustain us. Everything in harmony, each part playing its role to keep life moving forward. Moments like these remind me just how interconnected we are with the earth. While I'm here, wrist-deep in dirt and manure, my wife is inside whisking up dough for a persimmon pie. Just saying the name makes me smile. It's a promise of something truly special. I can already picture it, a flaky, buttery crust cradling that sweet, vibrant filling, the kind of dessert that warms your heart just as much as your stomach. She has such a knack for turning simple ingredients into something magical. Now that the dough is resting, she's moving on to the filling. She's chosen unripe persimmons for this one. I love how thoughtful she is about every detail. Ripe persimmons might turn too soft, leaking their juices and spoiling the crust. But the unripe ones hold their shape beautifully, adding a gentle sweetness and a satisfying bite. It's a balance she's mastered, and watching her work is always a lesson in precision and care. While she's busy with the pie, I'm taking charge of the tea. Someone's gotta do it, right? Honestly, it's moments like these that make me reflect on how we've spent years cooking side by side. Sure, we've had our little disagreements, who hasn't? But somehow, we've always known how to give each other space when needed and step in when it counts. Our time in the kitchen feels like a dance, a rhythm we've built together over the years. I've learned what tasks suit me best and which ones are her domain, and we've built this unspoken understanding that keeps things running smoothly. Working side by side like this has taught me not just patience, but a deeper appreciation for her and her way of doing things. It's like a waltz. You move in sync, respecting each other's steps, creating something beautiful together. When those persimmons hit the heat, something amazing happens. Their sweetness deepens into this rich caramel-like flavor with just a hint of honey. The texture turns silky, almost luxurious, with a slight tang that cuts through the sweetness perfectly. It's the kind of taste that lingers, making you want another bite and then another. You might not be able to smell it from where you are, but let me tell you, it's heavenly. The air is filled with this warm, sugary aroma, mixed with the fruity sweetness of the persimmons and a faint floral note. It's the kind of smell that wraps around you, comforting and inviting, making everything feel a little brighter. If you're enjoying this as much as I am, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Your support keeps us going.
حلو حلو.
And here it is, the persimmon pie, or as I like to call it, the orange sunshine pie. Just look at it. That golden crust, the glistening filling, it's like a little piece of sunshine captured on a plate. Perfect for tea time, this pie is more than just dessert, it's a celebration of simple joys. If you need the perfect knife to elevate your own kitchen creations or approach every dish with special treatment so that it turns out into an incredible memory, then you must check out our shop. Our tools are designed to make every slice effortless. Just scan the QR code and you got what you want. So that's it for today. From nurturing the soil to baking this incredible pie, it's been a journey that reminds me of the beauty in life's simplest moments. Thank you for joining me, for sharing in these rituals that make every day feel special. Until next time, take care, keep exploring, and let's keep finding joy in the little things. See you soon.